Here we go. And just to remind you guys that when I record, thank you. When I record, you will not be shown. If you ask a question, your voice might be heard, and I will never say your last name. So we maintain that confidentiality. So welcome, everybody. Good morning, or actually good afternoon, as someone said. So we are like in the last official day of this module, which is our brush, knee, and push basics and fundamentals module. This is week number 8. We will meet next Wednesday for like an extra session, and the Saturday group will join us to the extent that they can. So there is more that we can do, but this is the official last class of it. So I want you to think of, if you have bits and pieces from last time. I'm going to review right now a lot of what we did last time, but things you'd really like to go over today again. We can work that in because it's easy to do. This is a very flexible day. So we can work in any questions that you have or extra practice that you want on something. Oh my goodness, Holly, you look like this. This is kind of cool. You're like walking up the walls. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know most of you are just seeing me, but you know, the rest of you are like this, and Holly's like this. I've never seen that before. That's wonderful. So I wanted to review. Last time we really reviewed the empty step. We reviewed a lot about our alignment in how to do it. It's kind of a tough move. So we've done that. Got a little bit of, there we go. I think we're good now. And we were consolidating our understanding of the techniques of brush, knee, and push, working more on that, and Handstrum's the Loop, so that you have an introduction to those techniques, and it's something that we can use to practice. We also talked about aligning both our hips and vertically in that empty step, and we're going to do a little bit more of that today, because I want to that is the hardest thing about empty steps. And it is something that we need to do in our bow steps as well. So why not kind of work on it where it's really obvious and you can really feel it. So that was last week. And this week, I want to answer whatever questions and give you whatever extra practice you want on things that we've been doing. I want to go in a little bit more into rooting and how you move your root a little bit. And I want to return us to using our imaginations and seeing what that teaches us. So I'm hoping this will be a really interactive class today, and that you will actually have questions, have things that you want to ask about and do again. And you will also give me feedback, much like you did in some of the first classes, about, oh, when we did that, this changed my Tai Chi, or I began to wonder about, right? Because that's part of why we've been sort of building stuff up here, is so that you could really look at these relationships between sort of everyday life and your imagination. One of the major concepts fundamental to Tai Chi is that your mind, where your mind is and what you intend to do, it impacts your body. So when and how your body can move and unify and do one thing, even though it's like all these different things. We've seen that in throwing a ball, right? You saw it when you thought about throwing a ball, several things happen to your body. So I think that by doing these imaginative exercises, you can make those relationships. So coming back to them again at the end of this module is a really important thing. Make sense? So first, let me ask if anyone brought any questions with them about brush, knee, and push, or Handstrum's the Loop, or anything we were doing, something I should work into the class today? Yeah, Yukiko.
When we empty stance, do you use a rear leg to push? I mean, like a bow stance, or just bend down knees?
Ah, okay. So let's go into that because that's going to help our rooting. So that'll be the first thing we'll do when we get out of our warm up. Okay, because that will work really well for us. That's great. And don't let me forget. In fact, I'm going to put pushing with foot right as you go into it, like this. That's what I'm hearing, right? Like at this moment, right? Okay. There's a lot to say there, and it's a really important question. All right, let's spend a little moment and just center ourselves as we normally do. And we're in week 8 here, so if you want to run through your own checklist for a second, what would you pick? How would you do this? How do you prepare to do Tai Chi? What about your feet? What about the top of your head? What about hanging down? Have you thought yet about your spine? Have you thought about where it's pointing? The very bottom of your spine? Are we feeling balanced, extended, centered, with our whole foot on the floor? We're going to do opening. How does that happen? Enjoy it. And again. Are you feeling extended across the back as we do this? Again, breathing in, filling up, being extended, and beginning to breathe out, pushing down, still extended. Bringing our arms up, still feeling extended and connected across the back. Opening into a big tree, but not losing that circle, the circle across the front or the back, and closing. Being aware that your arms sort of hinge at those shoulder joints. Boy, you guys are fabulous with having your shoulders down, just great. Let's see if we can keep them down as we push one hand down in a push and turn the upper arm and just point it out. And then come back. And the same thing on the other side, push an arm down and just turn the forearm and out, lovely. And back. And coming in a little bit and pushing out. Don't lose that feeling of being connected across your back. And out. And in. And come in. And push out. Change. Take one push hand, put it down. Turn the other push hand into a strike. Don't let your hips turn, but I want you to, let's see, what do I want? Actually, I want you to bring this hand in. Let's do this. Actually, let's go ahead and do this. Up, reach your nose, and turn your upper body only, swing, polish the table, and turning back your upper body, strike, push, and up, reach your nose, turn your upper body only at this moment, swing, polish the table, turn it back, and let it power your hand out. Imagine for a minute that your hands can't move without being together. We're just going to do this again. And they actually won't make the swing or the polish the table without at least a slight movement of your upper body. They certainly aren't going to strike without your upper body moving. Up, in, swing, polish, and strike. And I see some of you are practicing the look. Remember, it goes up, you're looking straight. You're looking straight as you reach your notes. Follow the top hand and then the other hand to the corner. Follow the front hand as you turn to the front, and then your eyes stay front. Your eyes are front. They stay looking out just at your own height, and then they follow the swinging arm, and then they follow the arm that's polishing the table, and then they stay because the action is in the strike. All right, and then we're going to give way that hand, and then we're going to turn on that side and turn the thumb up on the other side, and then one up, one down. Nice. All right. So that we've got our upper body warmed up. Lower body's probably saying, hey, what are we going to do now? So let's just warm up and remind us a little bit about how we stood in the corner last time and did little knee bumps and made sure that we weren't putting that hip out. Remember that? Don't turn that hip out. Keep that hip in, and sort of knee bumps, slow, slow. And when you do, you should feel this in your glutes and in your quads. You are turned to the corner. You can turn your head to watch me if you want, but make sure you're turned to the corner. Now, I want you to, as you do this, I want, get where you can see my feet. I want you to knee bump both of them a little bit. Okay, knee bump both of them. You should feel that. Now I want you to push with the ball of the right foot. All on the back foot is your entire weight on the whole foot. It's not there. I want that bubbling well in the back. Now I want you to push the front foot enough to move your weight entirely to the back foot. Now I want you to pick up the front foot, put the heel pad down, and now I want you to push with the heel pad. Push. I want you to feel like you're sinking into the floor. It's kind of like a yes, yes. You think that, yes. You know, you got that hooray. You know, it's not this hooray, it's this one, right? It's the yes. It's down. It's down, and you feel it in both of them. And in that moment, there is more weight in the back, but there's considerable weight in the front. You got it? It's like 70-30. Like if you weighed 100 pounds, 70 pounds in the back, 30 pounds in the front in that moment. Now, you've moved, when you did that, you moved your center a little bit between the 2 feet. Does that make sense? But now we're gonna move it back over the back foot by pushing with the front foot. Push with it at heel until it's 100% on the back foot. Lift that front foot up, put it down with the ball, and do that sort of, yes, that coming down. Both feet, both feet. The rest of your body's gonna stay relaxed, but it kind of helps me to kind of go, yes, you know? Like that's the thing, all right? This leg may be getting a little tired. So let's go and do it on the other side. We're gonna stand in the corner, turn this leg out. That's just opening that hip like we opened here, right? So we're gonna stand in the corner, not stand on our hip. Keep it level. Stand in the corner, put our other foot down, and then little knee bumps, little knee bumps. Now start thinking, yes. Do you feel how both feet really grab into the floor in that moment and you're really unified? That's what you want, okay? So it's a bit of a sinking feeling of your weight in there. Then I want you to push with the ball of the front foot. Don't stick your hip out. Just move that center line of yours back until now it's like 99%. And there's hardly anything on the front. You can pick that front up, put it down, and put the heel down and do it again. So this is a very good exercise for you. Again, if you're not sticking this hip out, you're gonna, if your hips are really to the corner, when you do this, you're going to feel, this leg right here is gonna get tired as you do this. That's what it is. So let's get to Yukiko's question earlier. Shake it out because you're probably getting a little tired. Let's get to Yukiko's question earlier about bow step versus this step, right? So when we did the bow step, I'm gonna go sideways to you. When we did the bow step, we shifted our weight. I'm gonna shift it to this side. We shifted our weight so that a little bit, so we could turn out on this heel, right? We moved the root to the heel from the whole foot. Then we moved our weight over. I've shown you this, from the other side before, and I will shortly. We moved our weight over and we stood on that one leg, and then we unfolded, right? We unfolded a foot, we put it down where we could pick it up again, put it down. Then we pushed with that back foot, the whole back foot, towards the front. Our leg stays kind of straight, but we move forward, right? We move forward and the foot goes down. This happens in brush, knee, and foot. And then we talk about bending the knee, and then we bend the knee. And most of the time, do you see how these have lined up now? You have this nice line from the back of your heel to your shoulder. So there is that push. This is what Yukiko was talking about, for those of you who are new, is you pushed from the back foot when you stepped into it. And then if you did another one, you would come back to center. You would unbend this knee a little bit and bend this knee just a little bit, come back to center, turn out that other foot, push with the back foot, and peel it off the ground till you just have the ball there. And then come to center. When the weight has shifted, reach out, and now I'm with this right leg, I'm gonna push my center forward and start to straighten the back leg. My foot's gonna go down, and then I'm gonna need to bend my knee as I fully straighten. And again, you see this nice line with my back leg. All right, that's the bow step. In this case, when we're doing the empty step, we'll go on the other side now. Let's see. Let's actually do it like, yeah, let's do it like, yeah, like this. So if we're going to go into the empty step we've been talking about, where we were going to do this move, sorry, I just did it wrong. But anyway, when we're here, we're going to go push with the back foot, bring it in. For most people, you won't just bring it in this way, you'll bring it in, you'll also bring it closer to you. Then we're going to push back to move our weight back, push back with the front foot and absorb with the back foot until our weight is all in the back foot. When it is, we can pick this up just like we practiced. We can put this down, and then it's not a forward push. Although there is, you do have to move your center a little forward. Usually, you know, it's more of a this. Okay. So yeah, it's more of a, I was just thinking if, do I have the right one? So there are empty steps where you have the toe down, and there's empty steps where you have the heel down. But what you want to remember in an empty step is that in both cases, you aren't moving forward, you're going up and down, and usually it's countering something that you're doing. In this case, where we're doing this move, right? It's countering this very strong sort of chopping movement. And I was trying to think last night, like, what could I get you guys to think about? And, you know, like, it's hard because there are a lot of things that we do that are just like that. But the thing I thought about the most was how you feel when you have to lever something that's heavy, and you have to, like, one hand goes up and one hand goes down, and you're trying to do that, and you dig your feet kind of into the ground as you do it. You know what I mean? It's this kind of a thing. So think about that. Like, you know, trying to think of what it is. It'd be like turning a really, like, one hand here and one hand here on a bar that had a pin in the middle, and you're trying to get it to turn, you know? It could almost be like that, or like this, right? And in order, if you came up, it wouldn't necessarily help, right? You've got to come up and down at the same time. So you need to be very centered down, and you can sort of feel your chi sinking there. Does this help you, Kiko? Did it answer your question? That's a yes. Okay, good. Good. All right. Any other questions on the bow step? I mean, on the stepping, any of these steps? Okay. I want you to now imagine just a little bit about this rooting that I was talking about how we are moving. Remember, we did this last time. We did a thing. You guys can stay where you are. Don't necessarily turn sideways. But remember, we were in prepare, and then we moved we moved our weight until it was centered in our heels. Remember that? And we moved our weight until it was in the front. We felt like we were going to fall a little bit, but we kept our eyes open so that didn't happen. So most of the time we talked about the weight being in the bubbling well and wanting to keep it there almost all the time, except when we move it. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to go through the footwork we've been learning. I'm actually going to go this way for you guys so that you can just literally follow me. And we'll do it with brush knee, but first we'll do it without brush knee. So from here, you want to feel that your weight is centered on both feet, that you are centered completely, just like at the beginning, that your weight is equally divided between both feet when we start. And that you couldn't pick up your heels or your toes. Your feet are just plastered to the ground. Now, keep them plastered, but move your weight over a little bit to your left side. And then let the weight in your right foot, think about a pin in that now lighter foot at your heel. And you're just going to turn out. You're turning out your whole leg. It's starting to turn to the corner. Then we're going to bend both knees, opening our hips. Put all the weight on the right. Pick up that left foot and touch with the heel. Now I want you to go heel, ball, toe, but feel as if each part of that is sticking to the ground until the whole foot, you can't pick anything up. And the back foot, is it all on the ground? Now I want you to put yourself on rocky ground, that rocky terrain. Feel that rocky terrain. Feel the wind. I want you to imagine that it's windy and it's rocky. And now we're going to take our next step. We've done this a lot. We're going to push with the back foot, with the front foot, bend the right knee, making sure the knee's over the toes. And when we do, we're going to move the root to our heel of the left foot so we can turn it out. Now pushing with that whole back foot at first and guiding our knees over our toe, we now release the bubbling well and come heel, ball, toe as we push our weight over. So I want you to think about that as we do these steps now, pushing and progressively absorbing and changing what part of your weight is on your foot until both feet have the bubbling well. Coming back, turning out, that right foot now is turning on the heel, pushing with the whole back foot, absorbing with the front, the whole front foot, all of it is now on the ground. You're able to pick the foot up, bring it out, step out, push, absorb. Does this make sense? So as we walk, I got some thumbs up. As we walk, most of the time when you are ending, you want the whole foot on, on the ground. But as we get ready to do this one, we're going to shift our weight back a little and move it into this part of our heel, turn it out, then push with the whole foot, right? So let's do that again. And those of you who are really comfortable with brush knee arms, add the brush knee arms. and where you aren't comfortable with the brush in the arms yet, fake it or don't do anything. Nobody's going to see, right? So, because we're really concentrating on the bottom. So let's do it again. I want you to actually start with your left foot forward and your right foot out, and your right hand would be up if you're doing brush knee as in a strike, and you'd be facing. I'm not going to talk about the upper body, but we're gonna feel your bottom half, and I want you to think about the fact that you're really plastered to the floor. So we're gonna push with that front left foot, and it goes to the heel so we can turn it out. Now push with the back foot, the whole back foot, but then you release it and absorb it with the whole front foot. Right here, everything's centered. We finish this swing and put it down. Now we're going to transfer weight, pushing with that back foot, and the root moves into the whole front foot. It's plastered. The back foot is too. We're going to come up, pushing with the front foot back. When we get to the middle, we can move the root to the heel and turn the foot out. We're going to push with that back leg, peel it off. Now it's free to move. Polish the table and transfer to the front. How does this feel to folks? Is this like a mystery, or is this clear, or what do you think? I got a thumbs up.
I have a hard time just with when I'm just on one leg. Let's see, I have a funny toe, so it doesn't hit the bottom. So it's on one leg to lift it. Sometimes I don't balance too well.
Right. So keeping smaller steps will help. It's nice to be full shoulder width apart, but if you can't quite, that's okay. And don't take big steps forward. Make it a real tiny step forward, and you'll probably find you can do this activity without taking big steps at all. I think it would be easier to just see, and I think that may help because you probably can do this, right? So you can just make them be small steps. I take really big steps, but it's been years doing that, right? And I want you to be able to also see, right? Does that help, Marlene?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Take smaller steps. For now, that's really good. You know, the basic bow step is shoulder width apart, and we want that. We talked about this earlier because you don't want to like not have a base underneath you, right? But there's that, and the basic bow step involves one being out and one being straight, but there is no requirement on how big it is, right? It could be that big, but it could be this big. It could be this big. It doesn't have to be big at all. And my heel is actually here. You know, it's right near where my toes are. It could be that small. And that probably will make it easier for you. Any other comments about this? Does it feel, can you feel yourself shifting from the heel to the whole foot and then pulling up, off? This is what you want. And you want to feel like you're sticking, really sticking to the ground all the time.
I feel like this is really helpful, Dee Dee, for my control.
Uh-huh.
Trying to like keep that sense of where the balance is for like through my core. It helps me quite a bit.
Great, great. All right. So so I wanna just put us through this again. We have a few more minutes. We're gonna do it in this direction now, and we're gonna just practice again. If you wanna just practice the footwork, that's fine. If the arms are easy and not distracting to you, that's fine too. But again, this is about the basics rather than just doing it exactly right, right? So if we start here with our left foot forward, and I believe you can sort of stand beside me and figure this out, with our left foot forward, and we are at the end of a brush knee, then we can also do this as we go into Handstrum the Loop. So first of all, end of brush knee, I want you to imagine rocky, windy terrain, right? I want you to really feel those feet. They're both solidly on the ground. Now, we're gonna push with the back foot. Push with the back foot until all the weight is on the front left foot. I'm gonna pick that back foot up. Push with the front foot, and it ends up being the ball of the foot that's gonna be the last to go. And then it gives a final extra push, so all of your weight is on that back. All of the weight is on the back. Go from the ball to the heel pad, and now this is that yeah move, right? Where we go down. Now, as we swing and turn our upper body, well, a little bit more to the right, we're gonna push with the heel until all of our weight is in the back foot, and then put our foot out for a bow step. Polish the table, feel it transfer, and strike. Both feet are now firmly on the ground. We're gonna do a brush knee. So we're gonna come back up and out. Did you feel the change in the roots now? Pushing off the back, absorbing with the front. Oh, that front's gonna start now. The back is pushing. Here we are. Are you ground in? Now we're gonna do a Handstrum the Loop, which would never be done in the form because it's not usually done on this side. We're gonna push with that back foot, bring it in, one line, two sides, push with the ball of the front foot, turning, pulling back, all the way with that ball of the foot so that your weight's all the way back. Lift up that front foot, put it down on the heel, then get that heel pad in with that yes movement. Oh, you guys look great. All right, and then we're going to push back with that front foot until we can pick it up. Put it out. Polish the table, but this is where you're pushing with the back foot and then bending the knee, that whole front foot. Once it was on the ground, we could bend the knee. So whether you know these moves or not, you can always choose where you put your attention. You can put it into your lower body or, and check things out. Say, what's the fundamental here? So even if you say, oh, I already know brush, knee, and push, you can say, oh, but there's a lot going on in brush, knee, and push. With my feet, How am I moving my weight? One of the real basics in which we have not yet talked about is separating empty and full. Think about empty for right now. This is a very deep concept, but for right now, let's think about, oh, my right leg is empty. My right leg is empty. My left leg is full, right? Think about it that way. Oh, I'm sorry. that was my right leg this way, right? And this way, right? So let's talk about filling. Let's do it again. I'm going to go this way so you can just follow me. And I'm not going to talk a lot except say emptying, filling, emptying, filling, and see if that helps you a little bit. So let's get into a brush knee position. Our right hand is in the strike position. Our left foot is forward. Where are you right now in terms of empty and full? A little more full on the bent knee, right? Just barely. Now, as we come back a little, you're emptying the front, bending the knee in the back a little and filling it. You turn here. Now fill the front. Fill your left foot till it's all full and you can really peel that foot out and move it. Now we're starting to fill the right foot as we put it down, but it really fills as we push with that back foot. Now where are you? Maybe 60% in the front, 40% in the back. They both have something. We're going to take some from the front. Both feet are still on the ground, but now we're going to turn out on that pin in your heel and push with that back leg filling the front. The back leg pushed, became completely empty and moved. And again. What's emptying? What's filling?
Filling the left.
All the time you can think, emptying, filling, emptying, filling. Shall we do it again? One more time? All right. Let's actually start with the other foot forward. Just brush knees. I'm not going to talk much. You think, emptying, filling. And where's that root moving? How is that? I see some smiles. Yeah, Maria.
How about when you turn your head, that's your eyes slowly follow it? Because it's hard to coordinate all of that. And I suddenly thought, when my head goes this way, do my eyes follow my hands?
Yes.
Make it look more
Yes, yes. Your head should, I mean, the problem with my teaching is sometimes I'm not looking the right direction because I'm watching you guys. But whatever you just saw is probably the correct one because it was habitual, right? So the general rule is that your head and your eyes follow whatever is the arm that is sort of doing something right now. So when we do this, or they look at your opponent, that's the other thing. But when it goes like this, so as our upper body turns and our arms, there's like a prominent arm right here, we look that way to the extent that we can. And if we can't get our head turned, we go ahead and look with our eyes. And then this one becomes the prominent arm. And so you very quickly put your gaze over that arm. You're not looking at the hand or the arm, but that's the rule. And then now here you are about to do a technique. You're gonna strike out. And when you're gonna do a technique, almost always you look straight at your opponent. And that's actually where this is now the dominant arm, right? It's a striking arm. So as we come up and we come over, now there's a big turn here. That's the most important thing. So we just look at it, turn and look at it. And then we're polishing the table here. That's really important. So we look out over that arm. We don't want them noticing this hand here. But now this is the most important hand, right? Because it's going out on the front. And when we give way, we've got somebody. So even, and our hands are right here in front of us, right here in front of us. So we're gonna keep looking that way and then keep looking that way. But then when we go to swing, we're gonna look that way.
Thank you, that helps.
Great, great. You know, there's just so much. You know, I could just teach the basics, but I don't want you to not have the pieces too of what you're doing. And again, for those of you who are in section 1 for the first time, you're going to get to these moves before too long. And you're just going to go, oh, well, this is going to be a lot easier for me than it was before. So that's my hope. And for those of you who've done it again and again, this is the chance to really get into it and say, what is this stuff they're talking about, you know, bubbling well? Like, how's that supposed to feel? Or sinking my chi. So we're trying to give you that. Any final questions? All right, guys. So this is the official end of this segment, but we do meet next week. And I got some fun stuff planned for next week for our extra class that will go over these things, and we'll also bring your questions and what you want. And then the following week, we're going to start again with furry friends, but we're not going to do this module. We're going to do empty and full. We're going to do bodies. We're going to do shifting, because we've been moving forward with the exception of this step back, right? We've just been moving forward. Right? Maybe it's time that we started talking about, well, shoot, how does this work? Right? And how's all that coordinated? So we're going to get to that in the next section. All right? All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Didi.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.